TV 5 News. This is suicide.
Patty officials bring forecast. A time around the corner, find out later podcast. And Derek Pite is here with the rundown of the decreasing field and first straight backers coverage.
March. NATO airstrike is live. No word on when the airstrikes will begin. Salinas orders the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe to begin the strike with more than 400 Allied aircraft. Solana's decision came following failed talks with Yugoslavian President Slobodan Milosevic. We will update you with more on this story as details become available.
A potential parking lot may be heading to Clarion University. Mark Despotakis joins us now with details. Mark?
All right, thanks, Steve. Well, Clarion University Board of Trustees approved the purchase of more than 1 acre of land on Corbett Street. That expands the university's non-taxable property. We spoke with Dr. Heather Haveracker, Vice President of Finance and Administration, about the details of the plan and reaction to an opponent's comments. Take a look.
The reason the acquisition for whenever contiguous properties would become available, we would want to take a good hard look at them. And these particular properties are very, very deep. So they have a lot of land, so we really could be talking of, if we chose to move in the direction of doing a parking lot, having up to 100 spaces.
Haveracker also told me that plans for the acquisition have not been finalized yet.
Oh, it still requires the approval of the Board of Governors, which meets in Harrisburg on April 8th. It also requires the approval of the Attorney General's office, the contract does. And in addition, there are contingencies built into the contract such that we would not make the acquisition if the borough would not allow us to use the property in the manner in which we are requesting.
Okay. Well, these are the lots that the Clarion University Board of Trustees have approved for acquisition. Local residents I spoke with had no problem with these lots becoming a parking lot, but Clarion Borough Manager Carol Lapinto has a different opinion. Lapinto was quoted in today's Clarion News referring to the loss of tax revenue as saying, "There's nothing we can do about it. People tend to forget not only is this general fund dollars, but dollars for the library, the fire department, and recreation. They're all suffering." And Haveracker's response to this?
Well, I mean, I certainly understand the borough's concerns about, you know, their loss of tax base, but I think that's really a broader issue than just the university. I mean, there are other non-taxable properties in the borough, and I think we need to be looking for some broader solutions.
Well, it looks like there'll be more information coming from this story in the next few months. We will continue to follow it for you. And two other notes to this. Haveracker also told me that a report in today's Clarion News was incorrect. Trustee Lee James did not oppose the purchase of the land. Trustee Ken Cowdy opposed the purchase. And the other thing was that Clarion Borough Manager Carol Lapinto was out of town today, not available for an on-air comment with us. That's why we had that comment from the Clarion News. Christy?
Thanks a lot, Mark. Taking a look at news from the county, the Clarion County Career Center Director John Phoebe has resigned effective next week to take a new job at the Fayette County Vocational School. Robert Kerr was chosen Monday night to serve as the interim director for the Clarion County Career Center. This will be the second time Kerr, a former county commissioner and school district superintendent, has held the position. He served as the center's interim director for a period before the Joint Operating Committee hired John Phoebe as director last year. The board hired Kerr to serve 45 days. And William Kaufman, the center's chief school administrator, said Kerr's term will end June 30th.
And our coverage of state news begins in Wilkinsburg, where the teenage mother of an infant who died last week in a Wilkinsburg apartment fire awaits word of whether or not she will be charged in connection with leaving her home alone. Allegheny County District Attorney Stephen Zappala Jr. has not announced if any charges will be filed against the 17-year-old at this time. Authorities say the teenager left her 11-month-old son, Melvin Rudolph, home alone while she attended classes at a job training center. The baby died of smoke inhalation when a faulty space heater caught fire. The DA says charges, if filed, could range from neglect to involuntary manslaughter or even homicide. The Cambria County coroner continues his investigation into the death of an 81-year-old woman at the Laurel Crest Rehabilitation Center. A statement will be released within the next few days concerning the cause of death of Estelle Hessel. District Attorney David Tudalitsky is looking into whether the woman's death was caused by human error. Tulowitzki believes Helsel's death may have been caused by improperly inserting a feeding tube.
Also in Crawford County, a man who got his vehicle stuck in a field allegedly stole one truck to try and push it out, and when that failed, stole a second truck to get home. Mercer police arrested Jason Shaw of Conville after Sunday's incident. Police say he was apprehended after he drove the second truck into an embankment, got out, and walked to a nearby home. Shaw was unable to post bail and was ordered held in Mercer County Jail. A Meadville man who killed his wife in a 1997 drunk drive was sentenced to 3.5 to 7 years. Michael Fusi III was sentenced yesterday after pleading guilty to homicide by vehicle while driving under the influence. Fusi's wife died in the April 6th crash in Summit Township, where she was a passenger in a car driven by her husband. A prosecutor says Fusi had an alcohol level of 0.24, which is more than the legal limit.
A Fire Altoona police officer has pleaded guilty to stealing heroin, cocaine, and marijuana from a police evidence room, is fighting to stay out of jail. Anthony Panagopoulos was sentenced 2 weeks ago to 6 months in prison. Excuse me. Now his defense attorney wants the judge to change the sentence to send him to a treatment center. The defense attorney claims attorney David Gorman supplied incorrect information. He says the 6-month sentence may be illegal. Yesterday, a Logan police officer and a retired Altoona detective filed affidavits disputing Gorman's claim that the drug thefts hindered prosecution of their cases. Patrons at a Pittsburgh area bar apparently turned the tables on 2 would-be robbers earlier today. Police say the pair went into the bar on the 900 block of Chartiers Avenue at about 1 this morning carrying sawed-off shotguns. Witnesses say some patrons stood up to the robbers and surrounded the pair. At least one of the accused was hit on the head with a chair and required treatment at a local hospital. Both were arraigned on charges in city court earlier today.
Was it pilot error or a mechanical glitch that caused a Boeing 737 to crash Pittsburgh in 1994? Government investigators say there's evidence to suggest rudders on 3 Boeing 737s reversed direction on their own, leading to 2 crashes and a near mishap. The findings were unveiled at the National Transportation Safety Board hearing in Springfield, Virginia today concerning the 1994 crash of U.S. Air Flight 427. One NTSB member said too many assumptions are involved in this conclusion. U.S. Air Flight 427 had left Chicago and fell more than a mile before slamming into a hillside short of Pittsburgh International Airport. All 132 people on board were killed. A West Virginia man has been charged with aggravated assault and attempted kidnapping after allegedly hit a Greene County girl in the head with a pipe while she was chilling. David Deek of Morgantown, West Virginia, was arrested by state police yesterday after a woman said he matched a composite sketch that appeared in newspapers. Greene County District Attorney David Pollack says Deek admitted to assaulting the 13-year-old girl in Mount Morris on March 13th and also admitted to attacking a girl in January.
2 Philadelphia men faced charges of running a child pornography business in an apartment building. Police charged 24-year-old William Truitt yesterday with statutory sexual assault, indecent exposure, corrupting the morals of a minor, and printing and distributing child pornography. Concurrently, police have also brought a case against a man known as Big Daddy Red, who is also facing charges in the child pornography ring. According to police, Truitt allegedly made the tapes at his apartment with an 8mm digital camera and then sold them to local adult bookstores that were apparently unaware they included juveniles. Truitt is being held at the Philadelphia Detention Center on $100,000 bail at this time. A third person has been arrested in connection with the illegal videos. 20-year-old Eric Richardson charged with rape and related offenses. Stay TV5 News for future updates.
And coming up on TV5 News, Patty Boberg is live in the TV5 Weather Center with your first springtime forecast. But first, find out how one police officer found an ATV to be a real drag. It's all ahead as TV5 News brings coverage. Let's go to home.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy girls or women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
Fill your tummy with the things that are yummy at the Donut Hut. Our menu not only offers a variety of donuts, but many new items such as bagels and eggs. The Donut Hut also offers a daily lunch special for only $1.95. Stop by on Mondays and receive a small coffee and 2 donuts for 99 cents. Thursdays offer a 10% discounts to students. That's the Donut Hut, located on Main Street in Clarion. Open Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Sundays from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tell them that you saw this commercial on TV5 and receive a free donut at the place with donuts and a whole lot more.
And welcome back to TV5 News. An Oil City police officer fired a shot at an ATV because the operator began dragging another officer. Police Chief Rob Moyer said there was no intent on the officer's part to fire the weapon toward the person operating the ATV. His only desire was to change the course of action occurring that could have put the other officer in serious danger. Moyer's comments came in an interview with the Oil City Derrick where he explained the circumstances of the Wednesday shooting involving Sergeant Lonnie Knight and Officer Tracy Montgomery. Prior to Monday, police had released little information. The night the shooting occurred, they issued no press report. And attorneys agreed Monday there just weren't enough potential jurors in the courthouse to pick juries for 8 criminal trials plus a murder trial. So another jury pool will soon be called for Kevin Paul Mangiantani's murder trial in Clarion. He is accused of shooting his girlfriend, Terry Adams, at their New Bethlehem home. Defense attorney Jack Lowe Jr. said the jury will be selected on the opening day of the trial, which is expected to last 4 days. A court employee said it should take about 6 weeks to bring in another jury. We'll keep you updated as this story unfolds.
A judge is scheduled to hear an appeal filed by 2 women who were denied the right to open a personal care home for the mentally retarded in Franklin. Venango County Common Pleas Judge H. William White will hear the appeal at 9 a.m. Wednesday, April 14th at the courthouse. The hearing is expected to be open to the public, but an immediate decision is not likely. The city's zoning hearing board voted unanimously in December not to allow Sarah DeLuca and Melanie Turk to house to 8 mildly to severely mentally retarded people in the home at 745 Liberty Street. During the earlier hearing, several neighbors spoke against the project. They were concerned about declining property values and children walking to and from the nearby elementary school.
The Clarion Forest Visiting Nursing Association Hospice is now recruiting volunteers to provide a variety of services to its patients. Volunteers will work with and support primary caregivers and hospice staff in helping individuals. Free training is provided by VNA Hospice as well as mileage reimbursement. Spring training sessions are scheduled from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. April 13th, 14th, and 15th at the VNA office in Knox. More information is available by calling 797-1492. Straight ahead on TV5 News, Patty Boberg will be reporting from the TV5 Weather Center on the forecast for the upcoming week.
In Manila's hotel room. Stay tuned for these stories and more as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
If you're tired of those boring Saturday nights, then head on down to the Bowl Arena, where we have rock'n'roll every Friday from 9:30 to 12:30 and Saturday from 11 to 2. And if bowling's not for you, then head on over to our game room with 8 pool tables and an extensive selection of arcade games. The Bowl Arena is also a fun place for birthdays with bumper bowling for kids and league play for adults. That's the Bowl Arena, located just 1 mile east of Clarion on Route 322. Phone 764-3471. Opens daily at noon.
At the Carpet Barn, we love it when people walk all over us because we know our carpet is designed not just for soft color, but to stand up to the toughest traffic. It's soft enough for the big to crawl on, yet stain resistant enough for pets to run off. And its beauty will last for years. So for the walk of your life, come to the Carpet Barn. We have your best interests underfoot.
Welcome back to TV5 News. And according to Punxsutawney Phil, spring is supposed to run.
Patty Boberg is here to end that mystery. Patty?
Taking a look now at your TV5 Weather Center extended forecast. On the satellite imagery map, you can see we are currently on the clear side here in Pennsylvania. Not much is going on in our areas. There is a front to the southwest, though, and as it begins to push into our direction, we won't see many effects of that. It's going to basically bypass our area. The precipitation map is also showing us to be clear. To the north, there is some snow. It isn't going to, we'll see a flurry or 2 at the most, but that'll be it. For the remainder of the week, we will have some clouds. And as you look at the 4-day planner, Wednesday will be cloudy, high 55, low 36. Thursday, cloudy, high 47, low 20. Friday, cloudy, high 43, low 23. Finally, for Saturday, cloudy, high 47, low 26. That's a look at your TV5 Weather Center forecast. Now back to Christy and Dave.
Thanks, Patty. 2 freight trains collided in Illinois this morning, igniting a brief fire and knocking 8 cars off the tracks. The accident took place 11 miles east of last week's deadly Amtrak crash at Bourbonnais, but on a different track. According to a Conrail spokesman, today's collision was between a southbound Union Pacific train and an eastbound Conrail freight. The 2 trains collided at about a 45-degree angle, and it's not yet clear who had the right of way. 4 people suffered injuries due to the crash.
NBC's Suddenly Susan morning of its own. 28-year-old David Strickland, who played Todd, was found dead yesterday in a Las Vegas motel room, hanging from a bedsheet he had strung from a ceiling beam. NBC says it's too soon to make any comments or decision regarding the impact of Strickland's death on the show. The unavoidable situation of how to remove the character from a popular sitcom is one that writers will have to wrestle with in the coming weeks.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian will be acting as his own lawyer. Kevorkian is accused of murder in the death of Thomas York, a man who suffered from Lou Gehrig's disease. York's widow was called as a defense witness by Kevorkian earlier today, in which she testified that Kevorkian's only intent in her husband's death was to ease suffering. Kevorkian was facing trial 4 times before on assisted suicide charges, but has never been convicted. This time, Dr. Kevorkian will be the one awaiting sentencing.
An Emmy-winning TV anchor says her station's new management thinks she's old news. 47-year-old Sarah Lee Kessler of New Jersey-based WWTV, she was fired from her long time in 1994 because she was too old. Kessler explained that problems began when the station was sold to new management in 1992 that was on a mission to target younger audiences. Kessler testified in court yesterday during the first day of her age, sex, and religious discrimination lawsuit. The station's attorney calls Kessler a prima donna who couldn't accept her demotion from anchor to reporter. And after this break, Derek Pida is at the sports desk with scores and highlights from the NCAA tournament, as well as basketball and hockey box scores.
Plus, now that the weather should be letting up, Nani Lombard will be joining us live via remote to help us find alternatives to spring cleaning. All this and more as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
News travels fast. That's why you need the speed and accuracy of a news team that brings coverage closer to home. Every Tuesday and Wednesday night, join TV5 News for Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8. Tune in for the latest in regional, state, and national news. Plus, news exchange part Clarion News. Team up coverage for Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. Clarion's only live newscast on television is here on TV5.
Good evening. I'm Derek Pida with TV5 Sports. Well, it's Final Four time in men's college basketball. The lowest left state was 4th in the South. They come to unseeded Connecticut. The battle of the 1 seed out of the Midwest, Michigan State. Those 2 games will be played Saturday night. The championship game will be played Monday night. The host city of this year's Final Four is St. Petersburg, Florida. On the women's side, time defending champion Tennessee was knocked off last night by Duke, 69-3. The Bulls held Volunteer Superstar just 8 points. Georgia Schweitzer led Duke with 22 points. Duke is trying to become the first school to win both men's and women's national championships in the same season. It didn't take long for Iowa to find a replacement for head basketball coach Tom Davis, who recently resigned. They chose who has compiled a 7-year played for Bobby Knight at Indiana from 1983 until 1987. In hockey news, the Penguins left winger Kip Miller could be back in the lineup as soon as Thursday following an eye injury. Miller injured his right eye Saturday against Nashville. The Penguins will beat New Jersey. Investors bid to buy the Penguins included a provision that says the team could move if the city didn't build a new arena within 4 years. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette obtained a copy of the plan, which was circulated to potential investors last month. In baseball news, Pirates manager Gene Lunt said Jose Ian is ready to start the season first 2 weeks of spring. General manager Cam Bonifay doesn't sound as convinced. When asked how he thought Guillen was playing since arriving in camp, Bonifay replied, okay. Guillen is batting .267 with 2 RBIs in his 10 days in camp. In pro basketball, it was the Lakers over the Mavericks 6-93. Michael Finley led the Dallas with 23 points. Shaquille O'Neal led Los Angeles with 25 points. Dennis Rodman grabbed 15 rebounds. The Rockets got past the Wizards 110-100. Hakeem Olajuwon had 32 points for Houston. Chris Webber led Washington with 29 points. Rockets won the games. The 92-76. Payne scored 26 points for Seattle. The Sonics held Philadelphia superstar Allen Iverson to just 14 points. The Bucks used their highest scoring game of the season to beat the Pistons 115-86. Ray Allen had 19 points for Milwaukee. Glenn Robinson chipped in with 18. Christian Laettner with 17 points. That's it for sports.
Thanks, Derek. Nani Lombard here with this week's Entertainment Beat. Nani?
Good evening. Here's a look at what's happening in the Clarion area. This Friday, March 26th, Michelle's Cafe on Main Street in Clarion will be presenting live entertainment from Ethan and Ron Ramon will perform acoustic and blues music. The 16th Annual Women's Conference will take place on Friday and Saturday, March 26th and 27th in the Gemmell University Student Center. Speaker Hilda E. Ward will be lecturing on journalism and peer health education, helping to reach out. Keynote speaker Marie Lasquez, a nationally published author, will focus on the trials and tribulations of relationships and women's lives. For more information, you can call the Continuing Education Office at 226-2227. On Sunday, March 28th, there will be a piano recital in the Boyd Auditorium beginning at 3 p.m. The recital will feature guest pianist Andrea Swan. The University Activities Board is once again sponsoring an open mic night on Monday, March 29th at 8 p.m. in the Gemmell Upstairs Rotunda. All students are welcome to attend. On Sunday, Mark Doty will be reading at 8 p.m. in our hall. Next Tuesday, March 30th, the Clarion University Forensics Department is sponsoring a public debate in Hart Chapel at 7:30 p.m. Anyone is welcome to attend. Also on Tuesday, the Clarion University Jazz Band will present a concert in the Marwick Boyd Auditorium beginning at 8 p.m. That's what's going on in Clarion. For entertainment, I'm Nani Lombard, TV5 News.
Thanks, Nani. A group of Pennsylvania state senators introduced a legislative package today designed to help school officials, parents, and police to prevent school violence. Highlights of the legislation include training students to resolve conflicts with violence, establishing certain codes of conduct, and alcohol policies. Mandating the reporting of violent acts to authorities and making possession of firearms in school a felony. This legislation is an opening process and will update you as its progress continues. And now, for one last look at our weather, here's Patty Gilbert.
Today, T5 once again. Early cloudy, high 55, low 36. Thursday, cloudy, high 47, low 29. Friday, high 43, low 23. And finally, for Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high 40 to 26.
And Rodeo. While there's O'Donnell has 16 wrong, and the senior show are up 10%. And that wraps up this edition of News.
For Dave Marcus, Patty Goldberg, Derek Pida, Nani Lombard, and the entire TV Fans team, I'm Christy Good night.